What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute since I posted my last video. I had a lot of stuff just going on, and I just wanted to just take it day by day. Don't pressure myself, don't rush myself, don't overthink, don't worry, and just do what I do, pretty much. But I am ready to get back into filming. In today's video, I have a message that I kind of want to get out to people that are going through, you know, anything that I'm kind of going through right now. And I feel like I've been on a roller coaster. I've been up and down and just all over the place. And I was journaling the other day, actually, while I was at work. And I just realized that for me, I do a lot of self-sabotaging, whether it's just my feelings, my emotions, my thought process. I do a lot of self-sabotaging, and I just want to give some tips on, you know, what I've been doing and how I've been just getting out of, like, I guess like a little funk in a sense, but how I've been going forward with trying to stop myself from sabotaging my thoughts and my day-to-day functions. All right, so let's just jump right into this. So first things first is, what is self-sabotaging? So pretty much that's when you're blocking your own success, your own growth, something that's good that's going to happen to you, and you find some type of way to ruin it for yourself. You find some type of way to get into your own head and tell yourself that it's not going to work. And I think so many people struggle with that. That's a lot of people's downfall, because you could be right around the corner from your blessing, right around the corner for what God has in store for you, and it's something in you that just gives you all these negative thoughts or negative feelings, and you tend to, instead of you keeping that tunnel vision and focusing on what it is that you're meant to do, you start to just drift over here and think about all these things that can go wrong. And what if this happens? And man, if that happened, I don't know what I'm gonna do, or that's not gonna work, and look at me, I don't have what it takes, or, you know, I'm not this, or you don't have that. It's always just you doubting yourself, and you corrupt your own mind to the point to where you're in fear of doing something. And that fear is what keeps you from going out here and learning and living life and trying different things and failing and succeeding. All of those things, they come together, and you don't get to experience them the way that you want to experience them, because you're your own worst enemy at this point. So for example, let's just say you have this deadline that you need to meet, and you know that it's due at a specific time, specific day, and it's approaching. But instead of you doing your research for this deadline and getting your presentation together, or whatever it is that you need to do to meet this deadline, and you decide, you know, you get a phone call from your best friend, or you get a call from somebody, and they want to go out and they want to have a few drinks, you know, whatever. And you decide, I really need to be doing this, or I really need to be over here meeting this deadline, getting all this stuff together for what it is that I need to do. But I'm a postpone it for a moment. And then you go into, now you're not finishing it because you went out and you drank, you kicked it, no telling what time you came home, and you knew that you were supposed to get up in the morning and do what it is that you needed to do. But again, that's you self-sabotaging yourself. Why would you go out and do these things and drink and know you're not getting home till who knows when, and then you missed your deadline? You gotta take a step back and really just evaluate things before you do it. And that goes into me just giving you guys some tips, right? So let's start with tip number one. So first things first is recognize and acknowledge your behavior and your patterns. Get some self-discipline. You cannot be in denial when you're trying to fix things that you need to fix, or it's just not gonna work. What are you doing it for? You first need to admit it to yourself that you're having this issue, or you have this flaw, or you have this problem, and actually look at yourself and recognize it and learn yourself to where you know if I know I have to do this or I know I have to do that, and I do X, Y, and Z, then I'm not going to be able to meet this deadline or do whatever it is that I need to do. If I know that I want to make my content for YouTube and I want to get it out on Sundays, but every day before Sunday, I'm procrastinating. Yeah, I do have a job that I work, and that does come first right now for me. So yeah, I do have to work, and yes, I get tired, but when I have free time, I need to be using my time wisely, and I need to not have these distractions, and I need to know that if I go over here to so-and-so's house, I'm probably not gonna come back till this time. So no, let me get this done first and then proceed with whatever it is that I want to do. But you cannot, it's not possible for you to try to fix something about yourself and acknowledge it if you don't even know you have the issue to begin with. So take some time to really know yourself and realize when you need structure or when it is that you need to realize your issue and acknowledge it. Right? So tip number 2 is triggers. So know what things you can and cannot handle. If you know for a fact that you're already in a specific type of mood and you go over to so-and-so's house, or you're around certain people, or you're around certain temptations, and you know that those things trigger you in a bad way, I mean, do I really need to even say you shouldn't go? No, you shouldn't put yourself in situations that you know is going to trigger you or upset you in any type of way, because sometimes when you get upset, you can't get out of that funk. It's hard to get out of that funk, and I've had it happen to me plenty of times. So when you're already in that messed up state of mind, and you're already feeling a certain type of way, and you know if you go around people or you do certain things that you shouldn't do, it's going to take you a harder time to get out of it. So just don't even do it to begin with and save yourself a lot of trouble, okay? Tip number 3, and I think that this one is hard for a lot of people for sure, and that's just being okay with if you fail at something. A lot of people don't even start projects or don't even change things about themselves or put themselves out there enough because they're afraid. They're in fear that they're going to be rejected. They're in fear that they're not going to make it. They're in fear that they may get embarrassed. Whatever. There's multiple reasons. Sometimes you have negative thoughts. Sometimes you really just have to clear everything around you, your space, your thoughts, everything, and really center yourself and really truly feel if something is right or if it's wrong. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that even if you feel like something is right, that you take those steps because you think that those are the steps you need to take. And 2 of them steps you skipped and failed because you weren't supposed to take them steps. But that's okay, because you're able to get back up. You're able to learn from those steps that you failed with. And I think that a lot of people just don't go forth with it. So many people want to be a content creator, or so many people want to start their own business. Some people, don't want to apply for that position that they want. And it's because that fear of rejection, that fear that you're going to fail or you're not good enough. That is the number one thing that I feel like so many people have a problem with. But they don't realize that just because you fail doesn't mean you're never going to get to where you're going. It's up to you to get to where you're going. You need to get up and try again. You need to get up and figure out what it is that you didn't comprehend the first time, or that you didn't get the first time, and learn from it, study it, and then try it again. You're not going to fail every single time you try to do something. It's just the fear of, man, I don't want that to happen to me, or I don't want to look stupid, or whatever the reason is. I'm telling you, it's not good enough. You gotta just put that to the side in the back of your mind and just do it. Sometimes don't think and just do it. You're never going to get to where you're going if you don't at least try. And it is okay to fail sometimes. And I also think that that's also a part of setting realistic goals for yourself. If you know that in 6 weeks from now, you're not going to meet a deadline, or if you know that somebody to ask you to do something that you know for yourself is impossible, don't take that task on. Don't set those standards for yourself too high. You're setting yourself up for failure. That's what you're doing. So if you know, oh, I want to lose a certain amount of weight by August, right? How much weight are you wanting to lose? Don't set standards that are like that's kind of crazy, you know. And then on top of that, you got to ask yourself, can you do that? That's all a part of also knowing yourself, having that self-discipline. Those all go hand in hand. You can't set these super high expectations of yourself and not give yourself room to fail, or not give yourself room to make mistakes. Make sure that when you're setting these standards for yourself and you're setting these goals for yourself, that it's plausible. It's something that's doable. I'm not going to set a goal for myself that I know deep down inside, number one, I procrastinate a lot. So if I know that this is something I really want to do, I got to work on me procrastinating a lot, because I know that in order for me to get to where I'm going, procrastination is not in this timeline at all for me to get to where I need to go. So just make sure that these goals that you're setting for yourself are realistic. You're not pulling them off the internet or making them up, or just seeing all this stuff and just being like, yes, I want that, I need that, I'm gonna have that tomorrow. Be realistic with yourself. You're the only person that's gonna, be that real with yourself. You should be. So yes, be realistic with yourself and set those goals to where you know you can reach them in a reasonable amount of time, to where you feel like, I've accomplished this, I feel good. You don't want to set a goal and then you don't reach it for 10, 12 years. Yeah, you did reach it, and it's not a race like I always say, but at the end of the day, you still want to enjoy life, and you still want to enjoy things that you want to enjoy before you leave this earth. And that's understandable. So just make sure you're not putting that pressure on yourself to where you're exhausted and you're burnt out. Give yourself some time, some patience to grow and learn. Which leads me to my last tip for today's video, and that is to be mindfulness of yourself. And that is to develop some good and healthy habits for yourself, so that way you can be the best version of yourself that you can be. Nurture yourself from within. Nurture yourself with your mind. It's not just physically when you're getting your hair and nails done and doing the external is what I'm looking for, external things. Internally is where it starts. Your peace starts from within. You cannot be just at war with yourself in the inside and walk around with a mask on for the rest of your life. You can't do that. You got to nurture yourself and take care of yourself and love yourself and give yourself the same time and the same patience that you care about. You got to treat yourself that way, and you got to treat yourself even better, because in order for you to blossom and to bloom and to reach your full potential, you got to love yourself, and you got to sometimes put yourself first. And I have 2 kids, so for me, it is hard for me to sometimes do something for myself, in a sense, when I know my kids may want this or they want that, even though I just spent money or I spent time or I spent whatever it is that they asked me to do. I've done it. And sometimes you feel a little selfish as a parent when you sneak off and you just do something for yourself, or you might even get that fast food that you wanted that you told yourself you wasn't going to get. Little small things like that even makes you feel good, but it also makes you sometimes feel a little guilty, and you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting to spoil yourself or take care of yourself and do nice things for yourself. It's okay to do that, but you got to get in that habit of taking some time for yourself and getting to know who you are, getting to know yourself. And that's all a part of today's message as a whole. When you're self-sabotaging, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know that if I do this or if I do that, I'm blocking my success. I'm the reason why I'm failing right now. It's because I put those thoughts in my head, and I made myself feel that way when I should have never even felt that way to begin with. You do those things to yourself. So if you know that you're self-sabotaging, and you may not want to even admit that you're doing it, take some time to reflect and think about if whatever it is that you want to reach in life, do you want it that bad? If every time you turn around, you're the one that's causing the problem, you got to stop and ask yourself those questions. So if you're anybody out there who's struggling with self-sabotaging, I mean, a lot of people are guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. You know, take some time to sit back and just evaluate what it is that is stopping you, and what it is, why are you self-sabotaging yourself in the first place? Go deeper into, is it something that, you know, happened to me as a child, or is it something that, you know, I'm not even aware that I'm doing, but I'm doing it? It's all fear at the end of the day. So if you could get that fear in check and just go for it, I know that things would work out better for at least myself. You know, just nurture yourself and take your time, and hopefully you find that peace and you can stop that self-sabotaging and reach your goals. That's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.